Okay, everybody, I am doing a reading today. It's the end of January 2024. I haven't done a video, if you follow along, in probably a month and a half, maybe 2 months, because I've been going through a lot of just different changes, transitions. I had a hernia surgery, and so anyway, all that was kind of leading to get even me ready for these new energies that we're starting to work with and dive into in 2024, if we're ready and open. So what I want to do is a little bit of reading for you based off of this deck that we just picked up here, actually at a store right across the street. And you can see, maybe you've seen this deck before. As it turns out, we've been buying a couple of decks from this publishing company, and they're pretty unique. So here's the cards, and I'm going to pull a card based off of some of the information that I've been channeling and that Ocoa has also been channeling about what we're stepping into this year as, light body, as creators, as people who are really developing ourselves and opening ourselves. So let me find one card to start with out of this deck. Okay, and it feels like I'm going to start with card number 26. It's called Instinctual Bliss. So let me show that to you. You can see down here there's different things going on. There's a chakra, then there's a moon, and a zodiac sign. So the chakra is orange, so that would be exactly perfect. That would be our sacral chakra. And then the moon, I have to pull out the little book for this because I want to be able to read some of the stuff to you as well, because I think it's important. So the moon on there is in Selena, and the moon is in Taurus. So if you can see the bottom there, Selena in Taurus. You probably already know this if you're really invested in astrology. It's not exactly my world, but so let me read a little about that. So Selena is the white moon, the conscious self, the higher self, inspiration, melody, and inner light, which is fun because I was just saying, if we're ready, this is the year of light body awakening even more, especially to our creative self. So the conscious self, the higher self, inspiration, melody, and inner light. I love that already. Taurus, what it has to say about Taurus in this book is being reliable, being strong, learning from mistakes, cherishing relationships. Okay, and then I can read a little bit about the card itself. As I said, it's the sacral chakra, the second chakra. It's actually the first card in that flow in this book. Let me show that card again to you. Instinctual Bliss, card number 26. Svaristana, the second chakra, Selena and Taurus. My senses rejoice of the generosity of Demeter and the laugh of Dionysus. For time and an eternity, I am a virgin, forever experiencing the caress of the bountiful world as the first time. Do we need a reason to be happy? Do we need a past and a future to feel joy? Can't just the present moment be an explosion of eternity? Is it more precious to say, I will love you forever, or to say, I love you now? There's no simplicity in joy, in pure bliss. In the ecstasy that joy brings, like a waterfall to the senses, the artist, subtly sensing the unified soul of the world as eternity forever beginning, found the perfect model to create the masterpiece of his life. But no matter how great his earthly success, it'll always lose to the ordinary miracle of youth. Let's just be now. Now you can tell there's some sounds if you haven't dialed in before. I do these readings on the street corner here in downtown St. Augustine. That was a trolley that goes by with tourists. But I take that as an advantage because maybe it was a distraction for you. Maybe you didn't hear everything. Maybe part of you was agitated by the extra sounds, and there's going to be more because that's just where I sit. But I take that as medicine and part of the growth. And so for using a card like this, Instinctual Bliss, the first thing you can see, of course, now you look at the photo, you've seen the cover, it says erotic, but when you hear the words, there's just a kind of a smidge of that. It's almost like more so, it's really kind of like something a little more erotic and intimate to ourselves. This deck, out of the several decks that we have, is actually a little bit more like that. It's actually a little bit more personable. It's a little more into our intimate self. And so it's interesting that they call it erotic oracle, and it's based really off the photos that are in there. But when you come back, like here I see in the photo, I just see this female. She's got her arms up. She's naked. We see her from the side. She's got a bed of flowers buried up to just below her pubis, actually, and below the bottom of her butt on the back. And then there's a man kind of in the background a little bit, and he's almost like pointing at a window, or maybe he's making a canvas. It's a little hard to tell. You can see that the book doesn't describe the photos at all. And then she's picking up those flowers and throwing them. To me, they look like cherry blossom or something like that. But so you can see what I'm seeing. And then what I'm really taken by is this little thing down here, and I can't really decipher what it is exactly. It looks like, to me, it looks a bit like Darth Vader and Buddha put together. I don't know if you can see that. But to me, I think that really speaks to this whole message. And look where it's situated on him. It's almost like, if you're familiar with India, like the lingam, like the Shiva, the deity, is also represented as a lingam, the masculine, and it sort of looks like that. And here it is. So to me, and he looks a little bit fine. Like, I don't see him as a negative. I see him a bit as an artist. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Sirens with the model Elle Macpherson, but it's a bit like there's this artist, and it's a true story, in Australia, and he has all these women living with him, and they kind of frolic around naked, and he paints them naked. So I think there's a bit of that with this. The instinctual bliss part, to me, speaks to, well, in a way, like stepping into our light body and our creator selves. It's sort of dialing into what we already carry, what we already have, what's already inherent to us. Instead of going outside of ourselves to look for how we can be more like this person or that person, like somebody we want to emulate, it's actually just sort of almost like going with what we already carry. And sometimes we don't know that until we have more life experiences, and that's what I think is going on here. I think there's a bit of life experiences happening in this, especially with the guy. I think that's kind of what he's representing, is almost like that pragmatic, that life experiences, but still wanting to experience something outside, because look how he's dressed. Like, he's not showing a freedom in himself the way that the female is. And I think that this little Buddha Darth Vader down here is kind of representing that part of ourselves that's like, it kind of, it's smiling, it's laughing, but it's also a little hidden and kind of a little subtle and subversive. So to me, it represents like the part of ourselves that needs to come out a little bit more, the masculine, the doing, the showing up, but coming from the feminine play, I'd say, that childlike play, even, whether it's feminine or masculine. So, and then of course we got this kind of almost like a Roman or a Greek statue in the background. And to me, I feel like that's sort of like, in a way, it's a watcher. It's an observer. So to me, it's like the higher self, kind of standing back, a little bit guarded, a little bit maybe hidden at times, but kind of watching over our various experiences. So now you may read something totally different in that, even based off of what I read out of the book about the sacral chakra. You should know, or if you don't, is really about that. It's about our creative side. It's about our sexuality. It's our God consciousness. And so to me, I see a bit of like a merging of God consciousness and human, but a bit through the sexuality and even the masculine a little bit right now. The doing, but not overdoing, because what it should be doing is also converting into play, childlike play. So that kind of curiosity that we carry ever since we were little. And we all have the masculine and we all have the feminine inside of us. And so kind of finding that balance and pulling it out of the shadows a little bit. And even like sometimes being the observer, like being a bit like this guy back here, kind of like, okay, let me see, let me watch. And then the far observer who's really removed, and then coming into the full play and the sensuality and the releasing and the letting go, the kind of no inhibitions. And I would say instinctual bliss is just that. It's like when we're following our instincts, it just is there. It just shows up. It just comes out in play, and so that's about the reading. I think we'll stop there because it feels good for me to let this come out to you and see what happens with you. All right. Feel free to share in the comments what you feel or experience or what you want to see the next time. Namaste.